What's up everyone, this is JDM, and today I'll be showing you some tips and tricks on Overpass. Alright, so now we're on Overpass. I'm going to show some tips and tricks on Overpass. Just a few gimmicky stuff. On T side, so T side is, this map is really interesting for opping. It might be one of the hardest maps I would say to op on for being a T. Just because there's, I don't know, the map is so big and the defense can be set up a lot, I don't know, in different ways, different variations. It can be tricky at times to try to make an impact with an op. This is something that I like to do. I do this a lot on T-side because I feel like it's one of those players that you can always go to as an opper that you have a good chance at finding a kill and making it a 5v4. There is some risk to it as well, but you know, you kind of can't think that way as an opper. You don't want to think about risk. You want to think about just having confidence and knowing that you're going to get that pick and you know, start the round 5v4 for your team and make an impact that way. So this is what I like to do. If I have a good spawn, especially, this is something that I will bring up to my team. But what I'll do is I'll have a teammate come with me and he will usually smoke out the molly when I get there, and I'll show you guys what I mean. I'll have a guy that might flash short as well, so it's a short pick that I'm about to show you. So I'm going to show you my path and then kind of explain everything that's going on when I do this. So I'll be running, you know, through T-spawn going short. So when I get down to here, right, CTs usually, this is what I'm looking at. So they'll throw this molly, lands in short tunnel. This is just standard default for CTs. So when I get down to here, I'll have my teammates smoke that out because that's kind of our protocol as Ts, and I think just in general too, on good experienced teams, is smoking out this molly every round, usually. Especially when you're doing B defaults, because it's, like I said, it's masking what you're doing each round. So if you keep smoking that out, the team gets used to it, right? They're waiting for the smoke, or they know that you smoke short every round or whatever. But so I have my teammates smoke that. I'll push through. I want to try to scope as early as I can. And I will creep up like this, and I'll go for a short pick. But meanwhile, when this is getting smoked, right, I have a teammate that is up here that is throwing a molly. So he's throwing a molly short. This is key. I don't want anyone from, you know, on CT side to be pushing down short when I'm making this play. So a molly short is really crucial. I'll have a teammate, after he throws that molly, he'll usually just flash over when I'm like going into short. So I have a molly short. This molly is getting extinguished by my teammate. I have a molly here. And so when I get to this point, you know, like this molly kind of helps with the scoping, you know, sound and stuff. So I can kind of use this to, you know, my advantage. And I'm going for a pick. Sometimes I like to go a little bit further. Like I said, it's more of a risk the more that I you know, the longer I stay in this position, one. Second, it's more of a risk if I like push into like sight walk push with a scope and try to get a pick. But when I do something like this, it's based off of information that is given to me or that I identify when I'm doing this sound. If I hear that, you know, a guy is jump spotting, you know, right here, and he didn't see me, what is kind of standard for CTs is a lot of people would on teams like to play barrel as CT, or they like to play like wood area, like around here. We call this wood, or just anywhere on the monster side. But this barrel guy won't really, if I'm right here, scoped up, and I'm going for these picks, I'm clearing all these angles first. And I'm making sure that, okay, if the barrel guy's there, he's gonna already kind of peek me, maybe. But most likely, yeah, he'll try to take a peek. I have this pick right here. If I don't see anything, like I might just creep in, look for top sight angle, look for heaven angle. There's this angle right here when a teammate or CT is on top of this little ledge thing, and he can see monster, he can see short. But if not, like based off the information, like I said, maybe they're double stacked, sandbag, they just came late, or maybe there's a guy jump spotting, so I might just go for this, peek here, and then get out. Because then this guy, if I go for that pick, usually there's one guy on the right side. If he's not barreled, then there's a guy on the right side. So I expect another person to try to get that trade. Since his teammate just died, he might try to swing and try to catch me off guard and get that trade. So I just gotta try to get out or be expecting it. So like if I go for this pick, fall off, or maybe I just maybe I go for this pick that, and I just stay back and I wait for this as I'm creeping backwards, and I'm waiting for him to like re-peek into me. But that's a good play that I like to do on overpass on T side. It's a really aggro play. This could be a couple things. It could be like, hey, we have a free round or whatever. They haven't seen this. I usually like to do this at least once per overpass game. But like, if maybe it's a round where I saved an op from the previous round, and my team has low economy, so they need me to make a play. So this is a play that I can do and try to open up the site and try to open up the round to 5v4 and make an impact with it. There's a couple things though that you gotta like identify and you gotta stay focused on when you are trying to make this play and this will go back to another play that I like to do on CT side. So if a T side player mollies, on default, this is what usually happens. They molly short, so you can't get into short control. And so that's why most of the time you have a guy that's jump spotting in the beginning to see if they're taking short control, because you're not able to get into short unless you smoke this. So as an AWPer, when I'm making this play, I need to listen. I'm trying to get here as fast as I can. That's why the best spawn helps as much as possible. And maybe I don't scope. I just run up fast, because sometimes it is hard to like hear what's going on with that molly that's going on, with this being extinguished. So I'm able to get here and maybe even scope up last second and get into this position. But I am concentrating and I'm focused on listening whether or not this molly gets extinguished by the CT. If this gets extinguished, then I know for a fact that there's probably going to be a guy trying to be aggressive on me here. So if I hear that when I'm running up, okay, I got to be ready for it, or I got to just tell myself I'm canceling, because there's a guy, they're trying to get short control, or this is a standard. This used to be a not play that I used to run on CT, but like I said, if it comes down to lazy CS, whether or not the team identifies that you extinguish the smoke or the molly and you're making a play, because teams won't extinguish this molly unless they're trying to get short control early or an AWPer is making a play as a CT. So what I used to do, and I kind of changed this because of that fact, so it becomes, like I said, lazy CS, whether or not the guy short isn't paying attention to that and you get away with it. So you smoke that molly off, you come over here and you push, and he's not aware of it because he wasn't focused and he wasn't listening, or maybe his team was talking, calming the wrong times and he wasn't able to hear it. But in general, I used to as an op play on CTA, I would smoke this. I would come here, like from a CT, I'd run up, I'd smoke this, and I would try to go for a fast pick here. And I would just go for like this right here, scoped in position wise. So that is an op play, but I don't do that as much anymore because of the fact that they can hear you extinguish this. I might instead try to wait for this molly. So I'll be posted like this, wait for the molly to, be done with, and then I'll slowly like walk up while I have someone jump spotting. So I know that they can't be short, but I'm still being cautious about it. I'm walking up, and then I can now take it. So now I'm masking what's going on as a CT defense. They're not expecting maybe an AWPer to push too short like I'm doing right now. Instead, I'm being cautious about it, and I can surprise the offense this way. So I don't really smoke this anymore. Sometimes I do. It really depends. Those are two plays that I like to do on both sides of, or for Overpass, T side and or CT. But those are just the key points that you need to really consider and try to identify when you are making a play like this. So being aware of everything, staying focused on your gimmick play that you're going to be running, and understanding what is going on in that round when they do something like that, like whether they do smoke the molly, because then you got to adapt, you got to react. So that's a short play that I like to do for both sides. Smoke play that I like as a CT player, this is just a little gimmicky play. AWPers like to do this. So just in general, as CT, people like to, on defaults, like to smoke mid like this. And they can either go up party, they can just jump up and go for the pick, like that, or whatever. That's just the standard CT, mid default. Now, the only thing that's different from this is, instead of throwing that smoke where it lands and it covers everything, what I would do is I'd run up and I would throw one that's just anywhere to the right. So I can go up to the left side of it and I can peek like this. So the whole point and idea behind that is, when someone is jumping across, they're seeing a smoke right here, and they might not think that it's smoke, like I said, that I threw it more to the right and I can go up in front. So the first guy usually is always fast enough to just cross. He usually, teams on T side like to just, the first guy throws a flash and tries to get across the playground. And then the AWPer will come up and look up here or whatever. And this teammate will be like, hey, they smoked mid or whatever, it could be party. Maybe he gives that information to the AWPer. So when this guy is barely seeing what kind of smoke is being played right here, he might just not be expecting, because when you see a smoke like that, it's the same thing as when I said in my train demo, where if you smoke lower, inner, and it's the one way, but say the information wasn't given that it was a one way, and it was just a standard lower smoke, so you could be covered coming out of Z. Well, if he sees part of the smoke, he's like, oh, okay, yeah, it comes down to lazy CS, like I said. He sees part of the smoke, he's like, okay, it's smoke. He can't be in this area right here down below. It's the same thing like I just said with the inner lower. He saw a lower smoke, it can't be the one-way smoke, or it isn't the one-way smoke, so he just crosses and he dies. So the whole point is to show that there is a smoke in mid, just like a standard default that you do, and to try to catch them not paying attention or not really focus on that you could be up close on the bottom part, because everyone, so if I throw this smoke or something that's on the right side, this is a kind of a bad one, but if you throw it more closer to the middle, and you're able to still see right here, right? A lot of AWPers are just posted on the top part when they see a smoke to look at party. So they're they're kind of like this, and maybe they're inching out to see more to the right or whatever, and clearing different angles. So I might be able to take advantage of that and use that smoke as a trick to get me this entry right here. And that is a smoke play that I like to do on CT side once in a while. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you learned something new on Overpass.